What can OJ Simpson teach us about homestead exemption? It sounds like a strange question, right? When people hear OJ Simpson's name, they usually think about the trial, the media frenzy, and one of the most talked about court cases in American history. They don't usually think about real estate law. But stay with me. This story highlights a Florida law that could protect your home, your family, and your future in ways most homeowners don't fully understand until it's too late. Back in 1997, something huge happened. The families of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman won a $33.5 million civil judgment against OJ Simpson. On paper, that meant OJ owed them millions. Most people assumed that meant his assets would be liquidated, homes sold, property seized, life as he knew it would be completely unraveled. But here's the twist. They couldn't take his house. Not because of a loophole, not because of influence, and not because of celebrity, but because of where he lived. And that leads us directly to one of the most powerful and misunderstood real estate laws in Florida, the Florida Homestead Exemption. Today, I'm going to break this down in plain English using a real story, real law, and real life examples so you understand exactly why this matters to you, whether you own a home now or plan to in the future. After the civil verdict, most people believed OJ would be forced to sell everything he owned and pay the judgment. That's how it works in many states. You lose a lawsuit, a judgment is entered, and assets are seized. But that's not what happened. At the time, OJ was living in Florida, a state with some of the strongest homestead protection in the entire country. Florida's homestead laws are written directly into the state's constitution and not just a statute that can be easily changed. Under Florida law, if you are a permanent Florida resident living in your primary residence, that qualifies your homestead. And once the home qualifies as a homestead, most creditors cannot force the sale of it, even if they win a massive judgment against you. OJ's Florida home was worth millions of dollars, yet legally, it was protected. Untouchable. That outcome shocked most people across the country because it challenged what most of us assumed about money, lawsuits, and consequence. And it forced many people to ask questions they never considered before. How protected is my home really? Now let me be very clear. This video is not praising OJ Simpson. He made many bad decisions, and this isn't about rewriting history, but the law that protected his home was never created for celebrities. It was designed for families to stay stable, retirees to live on fixed incomes, and small business owners to take calculated risk. Everyday Floridians just trying to live their lives. Florida lawmakers believe something very specific. The people should not easily lose their primary residence, even during financial hardships or legal troubles. Your home isn't just an investment, it's where your kids sleep, where memories are made, and where stability lives. Florida's philosophy has always been that your home should not disappear overnight because life happens. And that philosophy is written directly into Florida law. Let's break down what homestead exemption actually does, because most people think it's just a tax break. It's much more than that. Benefit number one, asset protection. When your home qualifies as homestead, most civil creditors cannot force the sale of your home, even if a judgment is entered against you. This means things like business-related lawsuits, personal liability claims, or civil judgments. There are exceptions, and it's important to know them. Your mortgage lender, property taxes, mechanic liens, and certain federal debts. But for most civil lawsuits, your home is protected. That alone makes Florida's homestead exemption one of the strongest asset protection tools available to homeowners. Number two, property tax savings. Homestead exemption also reduces your home's taxable value by up to $50,000. That means you're not paying property tax on the full value of your home. For many homeowners, that translates into hundreds of dollars saved a year, thousands depending on some areas. And those savings compound over that time, but it doesn't stop there. Benefit number three, Save Our Homes cap. Once your property is homesteaded, Florida applies what's called the Save Our Homes cap. This limits how much your assessed value can increase each year to 3%, or inflation, whichever is lower. So even if your home's value jumps 15 or 20% in hot markets, your property taxes don't skyrocket with it. This is why you'll often see longtime Florida homeowners paying significantly less property taxes than newer buyers in the same neighborhood. It rewards long-term residency and stability. After the OJ Simpson case, Florida recognized something very important. While homestead protection is essential, it shouldn't be abused. So over time, the state and federal government made changes, especially around fraud, securities violations, and last-minute asset transfers. Today, you can't move your money into a home at the last minute to avoid creditors. Courts can unwind fraudulent transfers. Federal bankruptcy laws place caps and limits in certain cases. So this isn't a loophole for bad behavior. It's a long-term protection strategy designed for people who legitimately live in their homes and follow the rules. Here's where this becomes personal. If you're a business owner, a contractor, a real estate investor, a medical professional, or simply someone living life, you carry risk, whether you think about it or not. Accidents happen, lawsuits happen, economic downturns happen, and life happens. Homestead Exemption helps you ensure that no matter what, your family still has a place to live. It doesn't solve every problem, but it protects the one thing that matters most. That peace of mind is something you can't put a price on. Let's clear up a few misconceptions I hear all the time. The first one is Homestead Exemption is automatic. It's not. You have to apply for it. It's only about saving on taxes, but really the asset protection is the real power. Investors can't use it. You can, as long as it's your primary residence. I already missed the deadline forever, but you can still file, just determines when the benefits start. Applying for Homestead Exemption is done through your county property appraiser. Typically, it must be filed by March 1st. It requires proof of Florida residency. Every county is slightly different, which is why it's important to follow the correct steps for where you live. Doing it right the first time matters. OJ Simpson made a lot of mistakes, but protecting his home under Florida's homestead laws, that's something every Florida homeowner should understand and do correctly. If you own a home or plan to buy one in Florida, this is not something you should ignore. DM me the word homestead or check the description for a full breakdown of benefits on how to file in your county. Because the best time to protect your home is before you ever need to.